Hi, I'm Julie, keeper of my home. Today we are just going to spend a day outside doing some gardening. Joe and I have a few things that we need to get done, some planting and just some maintenance, watering, the everyday that you have to take care of when you have a garden. So stick around and join us. A garden is very important to both Joe and I. We love to be able to plant our food and preserve it for the whole winter until the next gardening season. We both kind of have our place as far as the garden goes. He likes to start the plants and, plant all the seeds and get all the dirt put in the cups and do all of that stuff. That's the part that I don't like. We do have a greenhouse in our basement and he does all of that work. I like the maintenance. I like weeding. I like just encouraging all the plants to grow. That's the part that I like. So we are a good fit, and like they say, opposites attract.
Of what? Take that big chunk right there and put it behind it, or the side of it, the north end. Push down a little, look a little loose. Find some worms in there, girl.
Just high enough for them to be able to get to it. A little bit high there. That should be good right there. We should all be able to get to it.
along with the vegetables that Joe and I grow, we also grow a lot of other things. As you can see here, we've planted 2 more grape, I don't know, what do you call them, grape plants, grapevines. They're Concord grapes and they're seedless. The other ones that we have are on the opposite side of that trellis, and I cannot remember the name of those ones. You're gonna have to look that one up. But those ones have started. They haven't produced yet, but last year's vine grew well beyond the size of the trellis, so we get a lot of growth. We've just yet to get the fruit from it, but that's okay. We're willing to wait. We also are growing blueberry bushes. We have several of these, and this is going to be the first year that they produce. We've got all kinds of little blossoms on them, so we're excited about that. We also have aronia berries. Now, aronia berries are much like blueberries. They have a lot more antioxidants. They're a lot healthier for you. So we're excited. We don't know what they taste like, but this year is the first year they've blossomed, so we'll also have those berries. Great for pies. Same thing you would use blueberries for. We have 1 elderberry plant, and that would be because there may have been a couple of accidents with the other 2. The lawnmower may or may not be involved in those accidents, but that's okay. More are on their way. Now, we also are growing raspberries. You can see here, we've got all kinds of raspberries. So we love those as well. We have blackberries, and this year the blackberries are going to be prolific. I mean, they're just so fully blossomed. And I feel like every other year the blackberries do really, really well. So we love preserving those. We also have nut trees. We have hazelnut trees, which we've yet to get ahead of the squirrels on getting hazelnuts. They beat us to it all the time, but I think they're sitting out there they're on guard every year, and they get there before we do. We have a couple of black walnut trees that Joe and I planted last year, and they will take some time before they're producing any nuts, which I believe is like 8 to 10 years. But that's okay. We don't mind. If we are not here to enjoy them, the next caretakers will be, and I'm sure they'll be very appreciative. Along with all of this, we also have orchard filled with trees. Beautiful, beautiful trees. We have an upper orchard, is what we call it. It's on the upper part of our property, closer to the road. That orchard is all apples, and that is where our beautiful Cortland apple tree is. You know, the one that gives us apples that have a 14.25-inch circumference. Yeah. I mean, that's my favorite tree. That orchard is about 35 years old. And then about 6 years ago, Joe and I planted one in the garden area. Last year was the first year that they produced, which we're very excited about that. So this year, they're full of blossoms again, so we'll get some more apples. We also have another orchard on our front lawn. Now, those trees are apple trees, peach trees, and cherry trees. We do have pear trees as well. They're in the orchard along with the apples in our garden area. The ones that we put on our front lawn, we just put in last year. So they've got a little ways to go. Although I did tell Joe that I noticed that one of the cherry trees has blossomed. We just planted this last year, so I'm not sure. Maybe we'll get some cherries. It would be nice. So along with all of that, we also have rhubarb. Can't forget the rhubarb. That's one of my favorites. But there's so much food that we grow. But there's also the food that God grows. Genesis chapter 1, verse 29 reads, God said, "See, I have given you every plant yielding seed that is upon the face of all the earth, and every tree with seed in its fruit. You shall have them for food." There are so many things that grow in our yard that God plants. He's put those there for us to use. One of those plants I look forward to every year is dandelions. Every spring I collect the dandelions. I make dandelion jelly. You can make honey. You can use the root. You can use the plant. You can eat the greens. You can make salves, tinctures. There are so many things that dandelions are good for. And I used to hate seeing them pop up on the lawn when I was growing up. But now I love them because I see the value in them. I never looked to find the value in them before, and now I see it. Each year, the dandelions come. I know it's time to make the jelly and all the things that I make with the dandelions. And then the apple blossoms start coming out on the trees, and that is when I start doing apple blossom jelly. And believe it or not, it really tastes like apple jelly. It's amazing how much like apple jelly it tastes, and you're only using the blossom. Now, once that goes, then I'm usually doing the rhubarb, the strawberries. Some of the berries that grow on our property are growing wild. The blackberries are actually berries that we found on our property. We had no idea that they were even here, and it was a wonderful find, actually. Along with the hazelnut trees, they were here on our property, and there are some wild raspberries on our property as well. It's just nice to know that there's so much of this growing around us. There's a lot of things that we have growing around us that we don't use, and I would love to be able to know how to use it. We do have 2 hawthorn trees, and we take the flowers from that, the blossoms and some of the leaves, and when the blossoms turn into berries that ripen, we use those as well. And we use all of those for teas. It's a really good plant for your heart. When the clover comes out, that's when I know I'm going to be making clover honey. We also collect it to make tea. Fireweed is the name of a flower that grows here, and we also use that for making jellies and different things. You can actually get them, if you can get them when they're very young, just really young, you can cook them, and they taste a lot like asparagus. There's just so much around you that we take for granted, we overlook, or we just plain don't know or realize that God has put here for us. This is all available to us for free. I look at the world differently now because I see everything around me. I walk outside and it's like visiting God's grocery store. There are so many things around us, and we are just very blessed to be able to have those things. They're given to you by our Father who loves us so very much. And we want to be good stewards of all that we have. Thank you for spending time with us. We appreciate you. If you're new here, I create weekly videos on homemaking, slow living, and a from-scratch pantry. Click the button below to subscribe. And until next time.